treat for you. One of the legendary gods of Pokemon, whispered about on schoolyards around the world as a paragon of power. That's right, it's Pikablue. For those of you who weren't in the game back in 2000, let me give you a brief rundown of what Pikablue is. Back when Gold and Silver were about to come out in Japan, Pokemon released a bunch of promo images of Pokemon that had yet to come out, including our blue friend here. But with all the cool kids not knowing there was a new Pokemon game coming out, pictures of this weird blue mouse thing were interpreted as one of the legendary Pokegods. Even though there's nothing really godly about it design-wise, but hey, we're kids. Hidden Pokemon that numbered past 150, with Pikablue being a legendary water-type evolution of Pikachu that was supposed to be amazingly rare and powerful. And then everyone saw the thing in Pikachu's summer vacation, and they all realized that it was just another Pokemon. So yeah, that really ended up being about as true as the Miststone you can get in Seafoam Islands to evolve your Mew.
You came from the water!
You know what? That's for an entirely different video. But anyway, Marill has an evolution, which is Azumarill, which actually looks even more like Pikachu. But maybe, just maybe, that Pokemon could have had the power of a Pokegod. So how good was Azumarill actually? Let's... yeah, get on with it. Let's find out.
Wow. I didn't want to move because I felt
Well, it turns out, not very good. At least at the beginning. Its rotund bellies its beefiness, but it had absolutely nothing to complement that beefiness except for padding on it. With Belly Drum, it had potentially huge attacking stats, which it absolutely couldn't take advantage of, given that there's no physical water moves because it's pre-Diamond and Pearl, and it's a it ran Surf, Hidden Power Ghost, and even Return or Double Edge for maximum neutral coverage. But really, Azumarill was pretty bad in general. It had the option to run Curse, which almost pairs with its stats well, but its move pool and attacking stats were both just pretty bad. Azumarill splashed down in underuse in the Smogon meta, and it wasn't even good enough to receive a ranking for Nintendo Cup. Like, it's just not even on here. Generation 3 though gave Azumarill a huge boost. You know what I'm talking about. Its child. That's right, Azurill is here. Actually though, Azurill is one of the weirdest Pokemon to ever come out. It's just a crying baby, and it doesn't even have its water typing, and really has no reason to exist. It's one of the only two Pokemon in Gen 3 to be related to something from a previous generation, the other being Wynaut. But hey, at least Wynaut makes it easier to get Wobbuffet. Marill isn't hard to get in the first place. But anyway, for real though, Generation 3 did give Azumarill one big advantage. Huge power, which at the time was its evolutionary line's signature ability. With doubled attack, Azumarill had a possibility of actually doing some damage to opposing teams. Keep in mind that it's not just a double base attack, it's after all calculations. So all of Azumarill's investment into attack got doubled as well. Its biggest issue was its low speed, which it circumvented by running a sub-punch set, augmented with Sing or Encore to gain more chances to set up a substitute. With 100 attack focus punches, Azumarill could actually be nominally quite threatening if it was able to set up. However, its lack of a great move pool and resilience on the set meant that it definitely wasn't a top tier threat. It was completely walled by Weezing and most other things that could resist fighting techniques like Gyarados, Salamence, Gengar, and Claydol. Hidden Power Ghost messed up some of those problems, but Azumarill was still an incredibly limited Pokemon. While it had its possible places in overuse because of good matchups on one types and Azumarill was still in underuse, but most definitely better than before. Choice Band was also an option, but Azumarill was really too slow to use it that well. The physical special split was incredibly kind to Azumarill, giving it the opportunity to finally use stab moves with its attack stat for a bit of more power. And let's not forget that water is quite a good attacking type as well. Huge power made the newly discovered Aqua Jet's power, well, huge. And the increased priority of Azumarill was finally capable of overcoming its awful speed. With nice resistances, some okay bulk, and an absolutely incredible ability that gained even more power in conjunction with Choice Band, Azumarill was finally starting to come to its own. Return and Ice Punch with Super Power gave it some alright coverage as well. That said, it was still far from Pokegod status. Using any more of its powerful moves meant letting go of that Aqua Jet priority, and Azumarill's 50 base speed was still its bane. Although Sub Punch was still a viable strategy, especially because the Buoyant Bunny's HP stat was large enough to hit the magical number of 101 for substitutes, which didn't die to Seismic Toss. It fared worse against tanks. Huge power may make Azumarill hit like a truck, but that's about all Azumarill could do. And the true truck power was actually illegal, because Belly Drum and Aqua Jet weren't allowed together due to breeding complications. Other offensive Pokemon like Metagross, Machamp, Snorlax, or Sizzler could also match its power. What's more, those Pokemon all had other things to offer as well, be it high speed, bulk, defensive typing, coverage, or recovery. Azumarill could dish it out, sure, but it just wasn't quite good enough to make it into overuse. Although it functioned as a premier wall breaker, if it had been able to use Belly Drum and Aqua Jet together, it would have easily overcome its limited move pool. But that just wasn't the case. Yet. Azumarill and Rain...
Wait, hold up. Wait a second. Need to skip it. Wait, hold up. You can go. I keep trying to kill myself. Look, wait.
Azumarill and Rain was absolutely terrifying. It wasn't so much a revenge killer as much as a revenge murderer. Able to one-hit KO Terrakion, Volcarona, and even Thunderous T and Tornadus after rocks. While it didn't appreciate being forced off of an Aqua Jet or its Niagara Falls-sized waterfall, it also had a good punch behind its coverage moves like Superpower and Ice Punch, picking up nice KOs on Dragonite, the Latias, Salamence, and Blissey, while Double Edge doubles down on its power and high HP.
Oh my God.
Azumarill packed all the force of the Class A Monsoon into Rain Team, but it absolutely needed to be run and run, or else it just didn't cut it as such a one-dimensional Pokemon with a limited movement. In Rain, only Jellicent and Restock Gyarados could counter it, but other Pokemon that resisted water proved to be good checks, like Celebi, Toxicroak, Gastrodon, and others. Well, that's not a super large list of checks, but it's also very easy to maneuver Azumarill into a counter situation because it was just so predictable. It wasn't like a gigantic freighter crashing through your team in the ring, but changing direction wasn't its forte, and out of the storm it was decidedly mediocre. Despite its power, Azumarill's reliance on Rain meant it was most definitely underused purely because it was such an all-or-nothing Pokemon. And despite being an aquatic nightmare, its move pool was a shallow puddle. It didn't have the added benefit of not being negatively impacted by the Rain Complex ban, as it didn't utilize Swift Swim or anything similar, purely the water boost. I do remember people catching each other off guard using Sap Sipper when it had to go against grass types, but using Sap Sipper means you don't have Ice Power, so I don't really think that was that viable in the grand scheme of things. In VGC, Azumarill was ever present as a check to common other Pokemon. Aqua Jet was something any Pokemon weak to water had to be wary of. Having an Azumarill on your side of the field meant your opponent would have to think twice about throwing out the Infernape or Excadrill. VGC is where Azumarill's bulk really shone, as being able to live one more hit meant one more Aqua Jet or a turn for the opponent as opposed to just dying to its counter. It still hated Jellicent and Gyarados, but Azumarill did quite well for itself in VGC 2012. Too bad it didn't have Belly Drum yet, but we'll get to that. And here, finally, Azumarill comes into its own, and all by embracing its cuteness. That's right, Azumarill is a fairy type now, and boy, that is a huge buff. An immunity to dragons and resistance against fighting and dark type moves meant Azumarill's buff, usually just a nice side note to his terrifying strength, now made it a hard to kill behemoth as opposed to just the usual behemoth it was beforehand. With more, Play Rough is an awesome fairy type stab move, combining the benefits of both Double Edge and Ice Punch, which was coverage neutrally and super effectively and power all in one move. With that slot freed up, Azumarill can now reliably run Superpower to hit Steel types, or even go in on Knockoff to dispatch one of its oldest counters, Slowbro. What's more, Belly Drum was finally legal with the requisite Aqua Jet, which was one hell of a combo, along with a move pull that had been improved over 4 generations and made for one scary Water Rabbit. Even Ferrothorn and Amoonguss could be O-code by a +6 Azumarill knockoff, which is pretty absurd. Finally, Assault Vest Azumarill played towards its tanky nature, giving Azumarill a niche as a threatening pivot into anything it resisted, and you didn't even have to change its moveset. As for counters, and well, actually they're more like checks at this point, the aforementioned Amoonguss and Ferrothorn did extremely well against any Azumarill that wasn't Belly Drum. Ferrothorn could potentially beat 2-hit KO by Superpower, but if it got in between, it would beat Azumarill straight up. And with that fairy typing, Azumarill is now weak to poison types, like Mega Venusaur or Tentacruel, which both gave Azumarill a lot of trouble. And physically defensive steel types like Skarmory, Mega Scizor, and Magnezone could switch in on Play Rough, or even potentially a Waterfall off the Choice Band set, and immediately threaten to KO. Basically, physically defensive Pokemon in general stopped Azumarill quite well, unless it had a Belly Drum up. That's what you get when you're a one-note Pokemon. But becoming a fairy finally gave Azumarill the boost it had so long awaited, and it triumphantly landed itself a coveted spot in 5 generations. Azumarill's buffs transferred over very nicely into VGC. While the large amount of electric attacks weren't something it was pleased with, it was still an immediate threat on the field due to Aqua Jet, with other Pokemon able to give it support via Rage Powder or Follow Me that allowed it to reliably get Belly Drum up. This thing knocked suckers out. It was especially threatening in the tail end, and the ability to potentially check Talonflame was highly effective. In fact, Azumarill even won Nugget Bridge's 2014 VGC Invitational on the team of Baz Anderson.
You're
Paired
gonna
fittingly
lose,
enough with
Will.
Raichu. It's
I'm gonna
one-time
make you
thought relative
die,
from its Blue Day. A fitting
Maybe
height for it
not.
to have finally reached a happy ending. Though again, there are a lot of Gen 6 electric types and grass and poison types of VGC, so it might have been kind of hard to put a Azumarill on a team at some times, but it's definitely
Take my
viable.
fist of
So how good was
it!
Azumarill actually? Well, for the most part, it certainly wasn't a Pokegod, and at some point it was even a little below average. But once it got that combination of Aqua Jet and huge power, it was terrifying. Sure, it didn't make overuse
Why'd
until
you
Generation
take
6
me
because of
away?
its fairy
That's
typing
what
and
I
finally
wanted
getting
to
Belly
do.
Drum
I
with
wanted
Aqua
to
Jet.
go
But
to
despite its
Victory
cute appearance,
Town.
Azumarill has been a
Why
truly
do you
menacing
kill
threat for a while,
yourself?
mowing down all who oppose it with a smile and some tremendous force. And as of this video with Gen 7, at least for singles, I hear it's pretty alright with Z Belly Drum. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you like the video, you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to False Swipe Gaming for more weekly Pokemon content. And of course, as I always say every video, comment
There's
on
so
what
much
Pokemon you want to see
lovin'.
next. And also, thank you so much
It's
to our
11
patrons for
time.
continued support of our videos. And thank you to all of you for watching again. I would not be able to do any of this without you. And that's it. See you next time, everyone.
What? Ow! Ow. There's one no.
I was about to fly away.
We both died.
Oh, that was close.
You hit my diamond roots. Wait, hold on. Oh my god. No. Yay.
Oh,
Moltres,
man.
our final member of the
Can we
legendary
stop
bird trio,
now?
hidden
No.
deep within
We
Victory
need to
Road
record
until it was
one more
retconned to Mount Ember in the remakes. It's said that the heat emanating from this Pokemon's wings is so powerful that it can bring an early spring. While Bird on Fire might not
Ow.
be quite the most intimidating monster on first glance, it's clear from its intense heat that Moltres
What
is
are you
the
doing?
strongest fire user we've ever
You
seen.
killed me, you cheater. Right, so.
Generation 1, similar to its flying brethren Articuno and Zapdos, Moltres packs an impressive base 125 special stat, making its Stab Fire Blast a
There's
scary
only one
prospect
more
for
round, and I
anyone
know who's
that
gonna
might
win.
face it.
Yay!
The burn chance that
Hi.
comes attached makes standing up to those blasts
Hi.
a possible crippling status effect.
There's
even for some
only
of
one
Moltres'
person who
strongest
wins.
counters, like Rhydon and Golem. That said,
Hi.
Moltres lacks the loophole or additional
There's
coverage
only
to raise
one
itself to
person
the
who
upper echelons of Gen
wins.
1. What Moltres does have is the power of Fire Spin. As we've already mentioned in
There's
previous
only one
videos,
person
trapping
who
moves in
wins.
Generation 1
God,
prevent
you
the
just
opponent from
hammered
attacking.
me.
Meaning that if luck is on your side and you're faster,
There's only
something
one
Moltres
person
will
who can
choose by running agility. You
win.
can trap
That's
your
me.
opponent in an endless fiery
Okay.
vortex.
No, wait,
While
one
Fire
more,
Spin
okay?
has lower
Okay.
accuracy than the similar Wrap, a move which Dragonite uses to the same ends. Moltres' stat bonus and
Hold
high
it.
special attack means the move actually gets the job done pretty quick.
Wow.
Counters to Moltres include the aforementioned rock types. But, as with any special attacker, Chansey handles it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry additionally outspeeds an unboosted
Fall into the
Moltres
water
and takes it
for
down.
me.
And of course, this being Gen 1, ice moves actually give it trouble, since
You
it's weak
killed
to them.
yourself. Oh my god.
Alright,
Die
Gen 2.
for me.
Just like the other members of the Bird Trio, Moltres drops some of its special stats after the special split. While Articuno dropped 30 points and Zapdos dropped 35 points, Moltres dropped a whopping 40 points from its special attack. Moltres' shallow move pool in Generation 1 is short of a tiny bit in Generation 2, but it's still lacking for the depth that it wants.
Right, we're
There are
getting
two
another match
solutions
because
to
of
the
what you
shallow
just did.
move pool. One utilizes Sunny Day to boost
I
Moltres'
can't
already
believe I
respectable
did
attacking
that.
prowess. The other is, as you may have come to expect by this point in Gen 2, is a rest
You
toxin.
farted.
Hyper Beam nerfs in Gen 2 has
No,
eliminated
you
it from virtually all sets,
did.
so Moltres gets to pick
No,
up one of
you
its new
did.
tools, Hidden Power.
No,
for
I
extra
made a
coverage.
fart
On the
noise.
Sunny Day set, it
Yes,
also
you
gets a
farted.
choice of a fourth
No, I
move,
did.
Double Edge, so Blissey doesn't make its life too much of a
Hopefully I
bill,
get time.
and Reflect to do the same thing against
Oh,
While both those sets are fairly potent, Moltres really wishes it had some more variety. Solar Beam or Drill
Okay,
Peck
guys,
could allow
after
it to
this, we're
possibly
going to
compete
do
with
a
its
different
electric
video.
counterpart Zapdos. But even
Kill
then,
me.
its speed holds it
Okay,
back.
I will.
Speaking of Zapdos and its fellow thundering legendary Raikou were two of the most
Okay,
popular
after
Pokemon
this
of the
round, guys, we're
generation,
gonna stop,
leading
aren't
to
we?
some very
Yes.
unfavorable matchups for our Flaming Bird. Other water types like Suicune threatened to extinguish Moltres and its not running HP grass
I
or
knocked
electric.
you
And the
out
list of
of the
checks goes
sea.
on. Most
I'm
rock
not-
types,
I'm not
some
seeing
it.
Charizard
See?
variants, some Dragonite variants,
Damn
and of
it.
course, although we mentioned ways to deal with Blissey and Snorlax, there's still solid grievances for any special
What?
Moltres got a few
Okay, guys,
additions
we're
in
gonna
Gen
stop
3,
there.
namely
Hold
Morning
it.
Sun, Will-O-Wisp, and a shared ability with
Go,
Indigo Blaze
bye.
Suppression.
See you
With a
later.
few more